Gracelyn.
Hi, Debbie.
Hello. Wow. Her name is, I'll let her introduce herself. It's not actually Gracelyn, but all right, Grace, why don't you tell everyone here what you're up to today?
Yeah, hi y'all. My name is Grace Flower. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I am a fourth-year architecture major here at Cal Poly. I have a minor in sustainable environments, and then I am originally from Edina, Minnesota. I'm a poly rep with Lindsay as well, and I work in the Welcome Center for admissions. So Lindsay and I are together all the time outside of being best friends. So it's a good time. So I'm happy to be on here. Congrats everyone who's on this video. Considering Cal Poly, you've made this far. So only the best of your years are ahead of you. So exciting stuff.
It's true. I have to agree with Grace. I mean, these last 4 years that we've been here. Oh, hello, Max. These last 4 years have gone by so fast. And, we're going to take this next, however, 30 minutes, an hour, however long we're here to tell you why choosing Cal Poly was one of the best decisions that we've ever made. Not to speak for Grace, but, and so you're going to hear from myself, you're going to hear from Grace, our friend Raphael, our friend Abby, and, so please ask us questions, but also if you have any, college-y, admissions-y types request questions, we're doing, again, an Ask Anything on Wednesday. So, Grace, why don't you tell us why you chose Cal Poly?
Okay, so giving tours, this is the ending spiel that we usually go through. So, I feel like I've given this 100 times. I've also said that I have hundreds of different answers for this question because it changes every day, just depending on how I'm feeling and if I've talked to my sister who's currently a junior in high school. So she's going through this process right now or not. So if I've talked to her, that'll change. If the weather's super nice and I'm really vibing on slow vibes, that'll definitely change the attitude too. But being an out-of-state student, so being from Minnesota, 2,000 miles away, I was coming in knowing 3 people out of the 20,000 that are here. And so I was ready to just kind of swim upstream, do something different, try something new. And Cal Poly definitely started that for me. I definitely chose Cal Poly specifically for the rigorous academia. Obviously, we're very known for being a polytechnic university, learn by doing. I wanted a lot of, and my major being architecture, be hands-on major, and so I wanted to jump right in. But in all actuality, I've stayed at Cal Poly and love it and choose it every day. Because of the people, because of being part of this whole community. That's been such a blessing for me. So yeah, all good things. I love Cal Poly a lot, and you did speak for me, but honestly, you were right. So it doesn't really matter. Best decision I've made. I wouldn't trade it for the world for sure.
Yes. Just I don't know, this call is gonna make me reflect on the last 4 years, and I don't know, it's wild. There was a question that I think is important to address. I don't know, did you see it?
Yeah, it was
at the top. Yeah.
Do some scrolling.
From Dylan. Yes.
Can you address the claim of racism and homophobia at Cal Poly? I'm considering transferring, but if not, I'm going to be, but not if I'm going to be a victim of a hate crime or being gay. Definitely a very valid concern. I mean, in the world that we live in right now, we want to protect you as much as you want to protect yourself at the time. And while I can only to my own experience of being a straight woman, I've never been victim of a hate crime because straight, so I can't really speak to that myself. But for my friends who are gay, I don't think that they've really had any experiences directly. Of course, in any instance, at a public university of this size, it's not that it's unheard of, but there are so many more people who are willing to fight injustice like that, stand up for you and support you and be in your community, that look at those people instead, and look at all the people who are change makers and look at all the resources have for any marginalized community, whether that being the Pride Center on campus or our queer and trans student union. We also have a really great cross-cultural center and offices of diversity and inclusion. So check those out. And I think you'd be surprised with the amount of community that you can find here, as well as being a transfer student, which is super exciting. We have tons of resources for transfers. Raphael will come on later and talk about that and his experience as well. So stay on and listen to his experience. I don't know, Lindsay, do you want to add anything on to that?
No, well, yes. I just have to say that amongst the students at Cal Poly, if issues have ever arise on campus, they're not taken lightly, especially by the student community. Like, there is so much support, and I don't know. I think that that's something that you're gonna find at Cal Poly. Is the people here are not they're not ones to let anything kind of slide by and be swept under the rug. And there's a lot of support and by faculty and by things. And like Grace said, like, I mean, as a white straight female, like, I have not had any of those instances, but yeah, that's pretty much what I would say to start. But I think that's important that we do touch on it. And so we're kind of just going through these.
Will this be recorded?
Yes. So this will be recorded, and it will be probably uploaded onto our admissions YouTube page, and we'll go on our admissions Instagram TV live thing. I don't know how Instagram works. I really don't know why they put me on the screen, but they did. So here I am. I do see there's a question.
There's a question about business administration.
I do see a question about business administration. I will, and so I love business.
Why don't you go into why you chose Cal Poly, and then you can kind of
sway. I'm not going until the end. Don't worry. I'm not going until I'm the wrap up. But that's a good one. What were our favorite events during WOW?
So many. Okay, so Lindsay and I not only have been in WOW, but we've also been WOW leaders. So we liked it so much that we tried it again, which was really fun.
Welcome.
Yes.
Welcome.
WOW. This is our second phase of orientation. Slow days is during the summer before you come to Cal Poly. And then week of welcome is up right before school, in between and the first day of classes. So jam-packed full of events. When I was a WOWie, so a freshman, or we also have WOW for transfers as well, but you're still going to be a WOWie. Something very unique to, for sure. One of my favorite events was definitely going kayaking in Morro Bay with my WOW group. So you're paired up with a little group of 10 to 15 students and 2 WOW leaders who will essentially be course through your first week at Cal Poly, which is, or not even week, first blank Cal Poly. My WOW leader ended up being big in my sorority. Still talk pretty often to this day, so gave me some of my best friends. And then being a leader, we went paintballing, which was really fun. It was amazing, so I highly recommend. 10 out of 10. Lindsay, how about you?
WOW was so much. It was so fun. You really just get kind of it's one of, I'm pretty sure it's a ranked program. Mm-hmm. I don't know how they rank orientation programs, but Cal Poly has a top ranked program. And I just have to say, especially my time as a WOW leader, I connected with my WOWies so much. And honestly, being able to form that community just within that group and watching them all be friends, and I think they're all still roommates. Honestly, that's my favorite part. There is a question. Okay, so I think we can combine these 2 questions. There was one that says, what do you love about Cal Poly? And then it's someone said, I'm between LMU and Cal Poly. Why should I pick Cal Poly? Well, if you want to throw your major in there, that might also help. But Grace, what do you love about Cal Poly?
I guess I already answered why I chose Cal Poly, but why I love Cal Poly is kind of a different answer. Having all of my friends come visit me from home is the most magical experience I've ever experienced, because they're why didn't I even look at schools out in California? Which this is the only California school I applied to and automatically fell in love. First of all, it is gorgeous. I don't think I see a cloud in the sky outside my window. It is beautiful today. It's been overcast for the past couple of days, so it's nice to have some sun. So the weather doesn't hurt. The people here are so passionate about everything they do. I mean, our friend Anna started the ukulele club. We all Mustang Nation. But everyone's super into their majors, or if you don't like your major, everyone's so supportive of you switching your major. If you're super introverted and like to read, there's book club. If you like want to go to the beach all day, like you can join hammocking club and like find friends that way. Like there are so many ways to get involved, and everyone wants to support you in whatever you love. Like our friend Max, who was on this call, we just said hi to him earlier. He is part of Empower, which is really cool. They are aesthetic lab within the College of Engineering. So it's a really cool thing that he's super passionate about. So, I mean, whatever you want to do, Cal Poly and everyone really wants to support you. So that's what I love about Cal Poly, for sure.
So I see that you're a business major. That is what a coincidence. Why should you choose Cal Poly as a business major? Because it is we have one of the most beautiful buildings on campus. I'm just going to say it. It's quite a flex. But it's because I know when you hear Cal Poly, the word Polytechnic, you're like, how can that be business? How does that, click together? Because our faculty and because our curriculum and because learn by doing and the students, I love my classes. We get to take our business classes the second we come onto campus, and your faculty, it's kind of wild. I was just in awe for, I still am, when my professor says, I actually already kind of mastered the business world and I'm retired at 45 and I'm here for fun. And I'm like, oh my gosh, wow, I want to be you when I grow up. And you get to take all these little sample classes. There's a video that I believe Grace and I did about concentrations at Cal Poly and majors, minors, and business is really unique because you actually get to choose everyone. If you're business administration, you have to choose a concentration. And so you get to kind of like specialize, and you get to take little sample classes from each concentration before you decide. So you kind of get to learn a little bit more, and you're not, thrown into, I thought I wanted to be an accountant when I first came to Cal Poly. I now know I would probably not thrive as an accountant, but that's okay. My roommate, he's killing it. He already has a job as an accountant. But that's just one thing. It's the College of Business, is your professors. And I just love the people in my college. They're so wonderful. So I'm not going to keep droning on because I have a feeling there are a few other people who have like other majors and such. But why you should go to Cal Poly for business? Because it's absolutely a fantastic program, and you're going to fall in love with it. So I can just guarantee it. Also, we have palm trees, which is, who doesn't love palm trees? Okay, how's the job networking? Well, fantastic. That's actually my senior project. But I can answer more of these questions. Y'all definitely come back on Wednesday because we're going to talk a little bit more about kind of like any of these interesting little questions. Actually, this is, I think, a great one. Kind of, why would you choose Cal Poly when it comes to semester versus quarter?
Ooh.
I think that's a good one.
That is a good one. Okay, so I think about it in terms of, I'm a little bit of a pessimist in regards to the quarter system sometimes, just because I'm really bad at math and I've had to take a lot of math classes as an architecture major. So, but it goes by really fast, so it's okay. So me being in calculus, and I'm like, I can't do it, Mom. I call her every single time. I'm a baby freshman. It's really difficult. And she's like, great. It's the quarter system. You only have 10 weeks and then you'll switch. Like, it turns over so quickly that you it doesn't matter. It like you're getting
it's like ripping off the Band-Aid. It's not as slow.
Band-Aid. I mean, we're already in week 5, But then on the flip side, the huge positive to that is you get to take so many classes. Lindsay and I were literally on the wait list for a beekeeping class this quarter. Didn't get it in, but still, even the potential to take that within our schedules, like we were able to fit that in because we had a little bit of extra wiggle room because of the quarter system, because we've got so many classes knocked out, and it's just a lot easier to have a fast-paced curriculum, in my personal opinion. So you get do a lot of things, but if you don't like where you're at, it's a quick turnover, so it's okay. But that's my personal opinion. And we also start in like the middle of September, so summer seems endless. It's awesome.
It's true. I love the quarter system. I like fast pace. I like changing, and I like things to be shaken up. You also get to just like meet so many people, and you get to meet so many incredible professors and faculty, and it just allows you to explore so much. And so 10 out of 10 would recommend the quarter system, especially at Cal Poly. I do believe we are, Raphael, if you are on, we're going to have you join on in just a little bit. But Grace, if you would like to give your kind of, I don't know, your closing, why should they choose Cal Poly? I know you already said that, but if you want to give a little closing statement, then we'll pass it off to Raphael.
Yeah, definitely. My biggest thing with college is that, like, yes, you're going to get a top-notch education at Cal Poly, but these are going to be like one of the best like 4+ years of your life. So really soak it up, learn to say yes, and also learn to say no. Like, understand how much you can put into your schedule and your time. But also like be down to go surfing before a 7 a.m. final. Like, but also know if you have to, like, if you're not a morning person, you're probably not going to do that. So just know yourself. It'll all work out. And best of luck, regardless if you choose Cal Poly or not. It's a wonderful place to be, but wherever you'll end up will be perfect for you. Okay, sweet. Thanks for hanging out with me. This is so fun.
All right. Much love, Grace.
Bye, Grace.
Bye, Ralph.
First of all, Lindsay, I did not know that we can do three-way. Though that I did not know. I don't know why they put me on here. Same thing as you said earlier. How you doing?
I'm doing well. It's so wild. I don't know. This has been just, this kind of being one of the last quarters that I'm here at Cal Poly. It's like I've been doing so much reflection. And so for this to be like a why Cal Poly, I'm like,
I know.
I'm ready to leave. I'm literally staying an extra quarter, so I don't have to leave. But
really?
Yeah, I don't graduate until fall. So
Neither do I.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Okay, then I'll see you fall quarter. This is so exciting.
I guess I will.
Well, would you like to introduce yourself to all of our friends watching out today?
Of course, yeah. Hey, everyone, my name is Rafael Medina. I'm a 4th-year transfer student. My major is journalism, and my pronouns are he, him, his. And basically, that's pretty much it about me. I did transfer in 2019 from Allen Hancock College, which is in Santa Maria, about 25 to 30 minutes away from Cal Poly. So I'm pretty local.
Local, if you will.
Yeah, local.
I love the slow puns.
Yeah.
I love the slow puns. So tell us, why did you choose Cal Poly?
Well, because I'm local, that's kind of one of the reasons why. Growing up, you would hear Cal Poly this, Cal Poly that, and I was a little kid and I didn't really look too much into it, like as a kid, and not even in middle school, to be honest. I started like in high school and when I was at community college. So I think for me, this is more like personal. It was kind of really hard for me to let go of the community that I was raised in. And I just thought, like Cal Poly's close to me. Cal Poly is a really good school and it has a lot to offer for me. So I got like the best of both worlds. And I think that's one of the main reasons why I committed. But other than that, because I'm a journalism major, they have a really good program. The faculty, the resources they offer us, the facilities, and just all the stuff that we're able to use apart from them. That's one of the reasons why I really chose them. It's helped me out so much since I've been there. And those are the three. I don't know how many reasons I explained, but those are the reasons why. I explained more than one for sure.
No, those are definitely, I mean, I would probably make the same decision you did 100%. But what was your experience like once you know, transfer here? And was it like you jumped in, or was it kind of a slow intro for you, or?
Yeah, it was super slow. Because I went from semester system to quarter system, and I
Mm.
was so used to 17 weeks, 17 or 18, I think it's 17 weeks in semester. And then jumping into quarter system, I'm not gonna lie, for the like 3 months in summer, right before Cal Poly, I was literally freaking out. I was stressing out. What my main thought was like, how am I gonna pay for this? And my second thought was, how am I going to do it? Because, I was a transfer kid and I was like, I'm not going to fit in. I'm not going to be able to keep up with this quarter system. So for my first quarter, I just uh, attended classes. That's it. I didn't get involved in anything. I tried making friends, but not to an extent like now. Like I was just shy. I was a shy person. I didn't know anyone. And after my second quarter, that's when I started getting involved in Mustang News. So now I'm writing for the school newspaper. I have lots of new friends. A lot of them I met during class and just part of the news organization, and then just walking around. So I think that it went super slow to super fast, and I really love it right now. I don't want to brag or anything, but I think that
Please, please.
I'm pretty much known by like all the 80 kids in our department that join the meetings for the journalism department. I'm pretty sure that they know who I am. And coming in as a transfer, thinking that I wasn't gonna know any friends, to now being known by like almost 100, of course, even more. Especially with people like you, people that I work with and that I meet. It's been really great for me so far, and I've really, really loved my experience. One thing, I'm gonna keep ranting. One
No,
thing
please.
that
I'm like learning so much. I love this.
one thing that I really am bummed about is, like I said, I was loving life at Cal Poly. I felt like up here, and then just COVID hit, and I only got to spend 2 quarters there. So I spent more time on Zoom than there, and that's one of the reasons why I'm staying an extra quarter, is to spend time on campus and to be able to cover soccer because the season got canceled. And
Right.
yeah, and I'm a sports journalist for Mustang News, so soccer is my favorite sport. And that kind of ties back to the amount of resources they offer. Like I want to get into the broadcasting side because they offer cameras, and just like we come out on like this pre-game show that's live to all the viewers. So that's really cool. But yeah, I really, really am hoping to get back to where I left off at Cal Poly, hopefully in September.
I agree oh so much, and
Yeah.
it's definitely, I think, a big conversation. Um, I don't know, especially, are you in slow right now, or are
No.
you okay?
Yeah, no. I'm in Lompoc.
Okay. And it's such, I don't know, it's such a conversation amongst Cal Poly kids because our life is so much this community and is on campus. And so it's definitely hard to replicate that same feeling
It really
over
is.
through a computer screen, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so, but I mean, with soccer coming up, that's going to be fantastic.
Hopefully it comes.
Yeah.
It's not set into stone, but hopefully it comes. And games are free to any student. Any game that Cal Poly hosts, they're free to the students. So that's another social event. The atmosphere in the stadiums and in like the gym, the basketball gym, they're so amazing. And I mean, it's just Cal Poly kids and alumni. They're all together in one same spot, and it's just, I love it. So like I said, I really am hoping to get back to that soon.
Yes, I agree very, very much. So you talked about why you picked Cal Poly. Now that you're here, what are like the little things that you just love about Cal Poly or San Luis
Oh,
Obispo, the area?
yeah. Oh, so San Luis Obispo, I love the weather. 100%. I live in Lompoc, which is here. Fun fact: Lompoc is like kind of it's on the coast, right next to a beach. But so is San Luis Obispo, right? But the thing is that Lompoc is cloudy like 80% of the time, and San Luis Obispo isn't. So being in a place that's always super sunny with like 70, mid 70s, mid 80 degree weather, I think that's what I loved about it. Just bike riding, it was just a different vibe. I don't know. You said you don't know how to ride a bike, you said?
Okay. I am 22 years old and I do not know how to ride a bike. I know. I hear when I say it. I know how it sounds, and yeah, it's not good.
Well, maybe just imagine it, and just imagine how cool that would be. You know, the breeze and everything. So that'd be super cool. So that's one of the things I love. Another thing that I loved is the amount of like networking and professional contact list that we're able to create at Cal Poly. Because kind of like what you said, how your professors are retired business people. Yeah,
Like
business professionals.
executives, like
Yeah, yeah. You know, professionals,
CEOs.
business
Yeah.
people. And then in my case, they're retired journalists, so they have ties with like the LA Times, the New York Times, you know, the Sacramento Bee, and all these other places, ESPN. And that's one of the things that I really like is you're learning from people who were actually in the industry, and they get to know who you are, and it's not like you're one student out of like 300, but in Cal Poly's case, it's only 30 students, which is something that I really love. Because,
Really?
yeah, like the 30,
Like that.
what is it? The 1 to 19 faculty ratio, I believe it is?
I believe we have a 1 to 17 student
1 to
faculty
17,
ratio.
yeah. So I really love that's the small class sizes is what really you're able to build relationships. So I would say that those are for sure my top things: building relationships and networking with people that you know. What about you?
Oh man,
I don't
well,
know if you answered this. I don't know if you answered this with Grace already, but I'll make you think again.
so I'm giving my why I chose Cal Poly at the very end of this, but in terms of
Mm.
I don't know, like connecting with professors and connections and networking, things like that. My freshman year, I was in a probably like 100-person history general education class.
I've never had
And
those.
really? Oh, because
Yeah,
you
I've
took them
never.
probably before you got here.
Yeah, I've never had those yet.
So my professor brought her dog to class,
What?
and it was this little puppy, and it was so cute. And I just remember in the middle of the lecture, I raised my hand and I said, "Hi, can I dog sit your dog?" And she was kind of thrown off. She's like, "Yeah, we'll talk after class." So then I started dog sitting for my professor, and it's
Wow.
definitely, you know, of course, there's those professional aspects, but it's also just the faculty. They're just phenomenal, and they're great people, and they're the kind of people that you can shoot a text to. You know, they'll give you their numbers, and you can shoot a text to them, and they'll meet you in the library at 10 or 11 p.m. and help you work through some problems and study for a midterm. And they'll let you dog sit their dog when you are homesick and miss your dog. And they're just, I don't know. And
They're people.
really they're people.
They're people. That's it.
It's a community of 20,000, or it's a school of 20,000, but it feels like a school of 2,000. Oh, there was a great question for you. Can you dive into transfer resources and why and how that's played a role in your time at Cal Poly?
Yeah, for sure. So I don't know if you may know, but the Transfer Center at Cal Poly, that's a really, really great resource. You can just type in Transfer Center Cal Poly to the viewers and anyone who's asking, and you can just easily find it. They have lots of like academic advising. They let you talk to one-on-one current transfer students like myself. And it's really like a supportive community and environment where they allow you resources to like how to get jobs and resume builders, and then just meeting people. I think that's one of the main things that I like about the transfer center is just they really do care about their students there because they know that us transfers are like such a small population at Cal Poly. So they really do want to give us the most amount of attention and resources. That way we don't feel like just a statistic or like a number. So I think that they're really, really great. I think that just transfer students in general, like not like no how do you say, no service involved, just like transfer students in general, they're great. Like you get to make friends so easily with them. Like, oh, I'm a transfer student. They're like, oh, really? Where are you from? And then you start. And I've met like so many people from just doing that, like in my general education classes. Like I play Call of Duty with them now just because we're both transfer students and like, you know, we got to know each other like that. So I would say just the students themselves are a great resources that, you know, you can build a friend and they might know someone who can help you and vice versa. So I would say that it's a really nice environment. It's not nothing what I expected. Like I said, I thought I was gonna feel lost, but I I felt really at home when I got there.
That's, I don't know, that kind of like makes my heart so happy, and it's, I don't know, it's just so nice, and I have definitely found like such community in so many interesting places that I never could have imagined. And
Yeah, and
so
the thing is, I found it in such short time. Like I said, I was
yeah.
there for 2 quarters only. Like actually on campus. Obviously, I made a lot of new friends on Zoom, but it's not the same. But yeah, like I would walk to class with them and stuff like that. So it was really cool.
My heart is just so full. I don't know. It's definitely, all the emotions of, we're headed into our final stretch, which is kind of weird. We can see the end of it, which is kind of crazy
Yeah.
now.
Hmm.
Um, is there any other last parting words you want to say before we bring Abby on here?
Yes. One thing that I tell every student that I meet up with, like any prospective student, is don't be shy to get involved. Like me, that's something that I regret is just not being able to jump straight in because you never know how long you're gonna have at Cal Poly. Like me, I thought I was like, oh, I'm gonna have these 2 years, no problem. And it turned out being only the 2 quarters. And I kind of regret not being involved since the very first day and making new friends. So that's something that I would tell. What's that saying? My future. That's something that my future
What,
self would
what
tell.
would you tell your
Yes.
incoming, your
Yeah.
younger self?
Yeah. My younger self. My younger self. That's something that I would tell my younger self if I were now. If we worded that correct. Yeah. Get involved right away. Find a club. Like there's so many different. I think you guys mentioned a little bit of that in the beginning. There's really anything such as hummus club. If anyone likes hummus, I thought there's a hummus club. And yeah, so don't be shy and jump right in.
Why
But
should they choose Cal Poly?
why should they choose Cal Poly? Um, just the amount of people that are there that are actually willing to work together in a community. Like it's not. I was talking to a student the other day, and they're like, "How competitive are the students between each other at Cal Poly?" I was like, "Not really." I was like, "They're not gonna like push you out of the way and throw you like, no, this is my internship. No, this is my job." They're like, "Oh, you got it. I'm so happy for you." And that's something, when I was coming into a university, I was like, oh my gosh, it's going to be competitive. There's kids from all over the country. I'm not going to be able to keep up with them. And, they're just going to push me to the side. But actually, no, it's a very supportive environment and community. And we're all students. We're all trying to reach the same goal and, try to get a job and try to make a better future for ourselves. So that's what I would just keep in mind is that you're gonna make friends, you're gonna have a good time, and you're gonna find a supporting community overall. I think that's pretty much it. That's how I would wrap that up.
Uh, I it's like wild because like I feel this way, and so when it's kind of echoed, I don't know, amongst like everyone else,
Hmm.
um, I don't know, it just makes me like so happy.
Yeah,
My heart is so full. Oh my goodness. Okay,
yeah. You
let
you don't know
me.
this part of me, do you? we Who's joining in?
I believe Abby, and
Okay.
it looks like she's gonna be hopping on. All
Do you
right.
want me to stay in and answer one more question meanwhile she does that, or?
Let's see. If you would like to,
Oh, I
absolutely.
see one. How is the commute from Lompoc? Good and bad. Good because I save more money and because I love my therapy drives. It's 1 hour here and 1 hour there. So I love just turning the music all the way up and then just forgetting I exist. I'm just like driving and I'm just like forget that I'm even like living. And it clears my mind so much. And then I like to listen to Crime Junkie, which is a podcast of true crime. I don't know if any of you guys are sucker for true crime podcasts. So I would say that it's great because I get to spend time for myself, and it's actually it's a form of self care for me. But the only bad thing about it is the traffic in the morning. Like if you have 8 a.m. classes, you have to leave at like 6:30, and you just run into all the traffic. And then getting home at like 4 and 5, that's when it hits pretty bad. So it can be annoying, but I think overall I like it. I miss it. I actually find an excuse to go to Cal Poly to cover the games, and just drive up there or go to visit my the place where I'm doing my internship just to drive. Um, and it sounds crazy, wasting $20 on a day for just like an hour. But I do it either way. I do it either way. um,
Let's
Anything
see.
else?
I don't think so. We might need to split the. Hold on. I think we can. Let's try. Abby, if you're watching this, try your reps account again. We'll see. Is that your dog?
Yeah, I was about to say, I looked to see if the door was closed. I was like, oh, sorry if you guys hear the dog.
No. Okay.
Okay.
Raphael,
Well,
we might.
I will see you guys later. Thank you so much for having me. And feel free to reach out to our admissions email. So, yeah. Have a nice day, guys. Bye.
All right. See you tomorrow. All right. Hello, everyone. It's me. I'm back. Hello. We are going to be having Abby hop on here in just a second. Let's see. View request. Go live with polyreps. Beautiful. Abby, are you here? Can you hear me? This is kind of funky. Oh boy. Again, I'm really not good with Instagram. I don't know who put me in charge here, but let's see if I can figure this out. Also, keep your questions coming about kind of like why we chose Cal Poly and things like that. It's definitely such, I don't know, it's really heartwarming to hear everyone's stories, and everyone's had such different experiences, but it makes me so happy to hear that everyone's had such fantastic college experiences, because it really does happen so fast. And it's a really unique time. I don't know. There are only so many times we get to do this. Are you here?
Perfect!
Yay! I was just monologuing about how special college is, and I'm gonna make myself cry and all that.
Good. I love it.
Well, I'm glad you're here.
Me too.
Everyone, Abby, everyone.
Hi.
If you would like to introduce yourself and tell us why you chose Cal Poly.
Perfect. Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Abby Allen, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. I'm from San Jose, California, so the Bay Area, and my major is kinesiology, and I also have a minor in biological sciences. So any questions about the College of Science and Math, I can totally touch on those as well. But to get to the question of why I chose Cal Poly, there were a lot of reasons that I chose to come to Cal Poly when I was first choosing which college I was going to go to. So my story, I kind of actually wanted to go to a smaller private school originally. That's what I thought when applying to schools. And eventually I got to the process where it was like April of my senior year, and I still wasn't feeling really secure in the schools that I thought that I wanted to go to. I was 95% committed to a different school. I had a roommate and everything. I was about to go to a different school. And then I got into Cal Poly, and I came to Cal Poly's campus, and I took a tour, and I knew that there was going to be a problem when I stepped on campus. I was like, oh no, maybe this is why I've been unsure, because Cal Poly was waiting here for me. So after I took my tour, I got to spend the whole weekend in SLO, and I just got to fall in love with this city, with the school, everything that my major's about, everything that my department kind of supports. So I'm in the Department of Kinesiology and Public Health, and it's a very small department. And that's something that I love about Cal Poly, is that even though it's a big school, my major makes it feel really, really small, because I know all my professors, I know all of my classmates in all different grades in my major, which is really, really cool. So ultimately, I chose it because I came here and learned more about my program, which is, of course, the
the reason we're coming to college is for our academics. So you want to make sure that you're really solid with that. But just getting to come to SLO, feeling the vibes out of this college town, and just like falling in love with this area. So yeah.
Oh my goodness. I think it's I took grad pictures, like a few weeks ago. I think it's all just hitting.
Yeah.
If I shed a tear, they're happy tears, I promise. Well, that's so sweet. Oh my goodness. So what things, now that you're here, and I know you're very involved in a ton of things on campus, how has that community been for you, and all the adventures that you've had and people you've met?
Yeah, I love the Cal Poly community. Also, I really love the SLO community. I think that what's really cool about being at Cal Poly is that we are such a college town, and just getting to know that like half the people here are going to be students, half them are just going to be families or supporters, professors of some sort that all just live in this area. And so what I love is how supportive everybody is of Cal Poly students, and not just people in SLO, like local businesses will give students jobs. They'll like try to help us out with internships and get us connected to things going on in SLO and throughout other places as well. But I also love the community on campus. I feel like Cal Poly students are so supportive of each other, and that is something that has kept me at Cal Poly. I think that like the competitive nature of college can be really intimidating, and I've genuinely never felt like I've had to compete with anybody during my time at Cal Poly, which has made my college experience so epic. So I'm really thankful for those communities. I'm also like pretty involved with people in SLO as well. So like I used to work in downtown SLO my freshman year. I go to church in SLO. So like I just have a lot of different connections to this community as well, which is really nice. So yeah.
I've watched you like blossom since, you got in reps. Was that 2 years ago now?
A year.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so wonderful just here when people really are able to make, I think wherever they go to college, they make it their home. And I think it's just so easy to do in SLO.
Yeah, so easy.
It feels, it's like you're home away from home. And, it's hard when I'm talking with my parents and I call them and I'm like, hey, just got home. And
I know.
I was like,
ooh,
like like, I'm sorry, like, I know my home is Los Angeles, but also, no, it's SLO.
Sloan. I love it.
And it sorry.
I saw a question earlier that I wanted to talk about a little bit, just because I am kinesiology, so I'm on a pre-physician assistant track, and that kind of goes hand in hand with like some of our advising centers at Cal Poly that I think are important to talk about. So I said like the reason I came to Cal Poly is for my major of kinesiology, but I'm on a pre-health, like pre-med, pre-PA track. So why did I choose to come to Cal Poly even though we don't have like a pre-med major? And so something that I like to tell people is that the opportunities that I have gotten as an undergrad student being in STEM at Cal Poly are very unparalleled to other schools. And there's a couple of examples of that. First of all, research. I've been involved with that since my second year at Cal Poly. And a lot of other universities actually don't prioritize their undergrad students in research because they have a lot of grad students. At Cal Poly, we only have around 1,000 grad students. So what that means is that I get to connect with my professors. I get to start doing that research very early on. I've had friends who have started as early as their second quarter at Cal Poly as freshmen. And so I'm just very thankful that I got that chance to get involved with that when I did. Another thing is the labs that we have at Cal Poly. So learn by doing. I think we've talked about it. It's our motto. It's how we just
mentioned it maybe.
Yeah, we've kind of talked about it a tiny bit. It's how we do things tangibly in our labs and our classes that we can apply to our lives outside and our careers in the future. Something that I got to do at Cal Poly, we actually have a cadaver lab here, and like seriously not a lot of undergraduate universities have cadaver labs. And so I think that that opportunity was super unique to my experience at Cal Poly. The other schools I was looking at did not have that. And so that was really appealing for me because getting that experience, like I said, as an undergrad, I got to do that lab twice, has helped me so much because I'm never going to forget some of those things that I learned in that class that I need to know for the rest of my life going into a career as a physician assistant. So there's been a lot of things that have helped me. Also, our pre-health advising centers are awesome. They will help you with your curriculum to like keep you on track, even though you're not on like the major track of it. They're keeping you on track to make sure you're taking all those classes to get there. So it's very helpful. Those are a couple things I like to talk about when talking about STEM at Cal Poly and how that applies to like pre-med professions, because it's a pretty common question. So yeah.
Right. That is so cool. I don't know. It gives me big like Grey's Anatomy vibes, and I think that is so cool.
I also see another awesome question by Tony. You're asking me about how I kept me at Cal Poly, and was there a point where I considered leaving? Actually, yeah. I think it's okay to talk about sometimes how college can be hard, and the experience that you have in college is nothing for what anyone can prep you for or make you feel like fully ready for college. I personally struggled a lot with my mental health my freshman year at Cal Poly, and something that helped me was actually discovering our well-being services my second year. We actually have free counseling at Cal Poly, which is really, really awesome access for students. But I really struggled my first year just finding that community. It actually wasn't until my second year when I threw myself into some more clubs, trying to meet people in the SLO community, trying to find different chances to connect with people. And that's one of my biggest things I can say is that, first of all, it's normal to struggle in college. Everybody does, even though it's not talked about all the time. And that's why it can make you want to leave or feel like the college that you're at isn't a good fit for you. But I persisted. I threw myself into a couple groups that I was really excited about, and I was lucky enough to just continue to grow in those groups and find really cool friendships through that. So I hope that kind of addressed that question, Tony. It was more like a personal first year of college experience. It can be tough. So yeah. I see another question too, Linz, if you wanted to.
For the Bay versus Cal Poly.
Yeah, I mean, I
think
that's talk about that.
That's definitely you. I was like, I am Los Angeles through and through.
I know. So yeah, how different is Cal Poly from the Bay? I would say something that we talked about at the beginning a little bit is just the diversity at Cal Poly is definitely not where we would like it to be. I think that was something that was different for me was coming to Cal Poly. I definitely did experience a culture shock. Growing up in the Bay Area, I was exposed to a lot of diversity and exposed to people from a lot of different backgrounds and walks of life. And I think my worldview was definitely bigger because of being from the Bay and just it being such a hub of people. But Cal Poly is definitely more not as diverse as the Bay. So I would just say the culture is definitely different. It's here. Like there are people that care about making diversity a priority at our school, like Linz and myself, and there are people that are dedicated to making this an inclusive atmosphere for all people. But it's not quite there yet to the level that I know that it could be. So that's just something to keep in mind with just like the community. But also SLO, like the community, the vibe, it kind of feels like there's a lot of smaller like downtown areas in San Jose. That's where I'm from at least. And it kind of makes me think of those places. So downtown SLO is like a really quaint, cute, like single street downtown with like a bunch of restaurants and coffee shops and different things, and it feels like a really, really just fun place to hang out and meet people, and very, very safe as well. So yeah.
So I see some questions about changing majors, which I will be happy to answer. Also, for again these kinds of questions, definitely on Wednesday we will be doing an Ask Us Anything, answer all of your fun questions that literally have anything to do with Cal Poly or San Luis Obispo. But changing majors is a big one. I think there's a rumor, myth out there that once you get into a major at Cal Poly, then you cannot switch. That is so not true. I believe 1 in 3 students switch their majors here once they get here. And it is not, okay, it's not impossible. It is not impossible by any means. It kind of does depend on the situation. If you're changing within your same college, it's definitely very, very doable. If you're changing, for example, from like econ to business, that's staying within the same college. It gets a little bit trickier when you're going from, I don't know, engineering to psychology. There's just not a whole lot of overlapping, because we do take our major classes as soon as we get here. There's not a lot of overlapping classes that you take, so you kind of have to start from a different point. But your faculty and advisors are very, very supportive and are very resourceful and help you make it happen. So we don't want you to get stuck in a place you don't want to be. So you'll be well taken care of. There is, Abby, there are some questions for you to elaborate.
Yes,
and then
totally.
after those, I will give my why Cal Poly. But
sounds good.
This one's important.
Yes, I would love to touch on this because I appreciate those questions being asked. I do also just want to acknowledge that my perspective is that of a white female and not of a BIPOC individual at Cal Poly. So my experience is going to be very different than a person of color or somebody who identifies as a minority group. So I did just want to acknowledge that before I kind of give my experience. But I did want to say that, what was one of the questions? How did it affect my experience at Cal Poly? Personally, it just kind of opened my perspective to some of the bigger issues in the world. I think I was just so comfortable with diversity growing up. I didn't realize that there were places that didn't have as diverse of a population, and how to just work towards making that the normal here in San Luis Obispo. Another thing is Cal Poly is a predominantly white institution. That just means that we are majority white identifying people. And so that is just something to keep in mind. And that's what I mean by not so diverse. It's just that we just are in a place where there are more white people here. And that's just something that we like to acknowledge because it is important to talk about, and talk about how it's also important to make groups of people who aren't white feel comfortable here. And so that's what we're working toward ultimately, is like equity for everyone, making everybody like given the resources that they need to thrive here at Cal Poly.
Absolutely. And you know, I've seen, just since I've been here in the last 4 years, the growth of our multicultural center and all those different
student diversity and belonging centers.
Yes. It's exploded and been fantastic, and it just blossomed, and it's incredible. Do we think the school is too secluded? No. Let me tell you, I just think the community is, it's not secluded, it's tight knit. And I'm not saying that as like, here's a buzzword that I'm going to use instead. It's because I genuinely feel that way. I have a bucket list on my wall that I have had and still not done. Like, I've been here 4 years, you know, and hopefully that extra quarter that I'm going to stay, I can maybe knock some more things off. But we're right in between Los Angeles and the Bay. You are, and an hour and a half away from Santa Barbara, you are surrounded by adventure. And people around SLO are so willing to just hop in and do anything. And there is, if you get a night in to watch Netflix, that is your choice, and it is intentional, because most of the time you're going to be, all right, let's go hike and watch the sunset. Let's go see the otters. Let's, wake up at 4 a.m. and drive to Death Valley. I'm doing that in May. So, I fully am doing that. So that's a little bit. Abby, if you want to give any final remarks, and then I will go ahead and close out.
Yeah, I just want to say I appreciate all the questions. It's important to be considering the community and the climate of the school you're going to be attending. And so I just challenge all of you to consider like what type of atmosphere you want to be in. If Cal Poly seems like a place it's going to be for you, like I would, I can only say great things about my experience here. And like, I do just encourage students to just continue to research and learn more about their major. Definitely like the program that you're applying to, like what's that going to look like for you? Like check out your flow chart, check out your curriculum sheet, because like that was a big thing for me coming into my program. So definitely check those things out. And then also just learn about Cal Poly and the students here and like some of the clubs. What do students like to do? What are we involved with? It'll give you a good idea about the type of people here. So yeah. Thanks again for having me on, Lindsay.
Of course, Abby, of course. Thank you for giving us your story. We very much appreciate it.
Of course.
It is wonderful.
All
all right. Well, I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Bye.
Say bye to Abby. All right, everyone. Oh boy. So I hope you can hear me. Is the session recorded? Yes. This will be uploaded onto our admissions YouTube and our Instagram. Can anyone let me know if you can hear me in the chat? Just like maybe put a yes. It just is a little lagged on my end. So, can anyone hear me? Am I still on? Yes, perfect. Okay, beautiful. So, hello everyone. I'm the last one to go. I'm Lindsay. Hello. So, why you should choose Cal Poly? Why I chose Cal Poly? So 4 years ago, actually very similar to Abby, I was 99% committed to a different university and had a roommate, and I thought, that college on paper had everything. I was born in Oklahoma, and I thought that every university needed, big sports and Big Ten, and, I thought that that's what college was. And on paper, this other university had everything, and I visited, and it was great. Don't get me wrong. It was beautiful, and it was fantastic. But I got into Cal Poly, and it was crazy. It was big at my school. Cal Poly is, oh my gosh, you got into Cal Poly. So I was talking to my dad, and I said, all right, well, I guess I should visit. And I walked onto campus, and I didn't believe that there was such thing as like a feeling. And something just clicked. And when I walked onto campus, I looked lost. My parents looked lost. We didn't know where we were going because, I'd never really been to Cal Poly before. And some guy walked up to me and my parents said, hey, you look lost. I said, hey, I am lost. And he goes, go ahead and walk with me. I'll get you where you need to go. And he walked my parents and I to the business building. And as we're walking, he, was talking. He goes, what are you interested in? I said, well, I'm business. He goes, that's great. I'm a business tour guide. And he said, what do you want to do while you're here? I said, I don't know, maybe study abroad. Out of nowhere, he goes, this is my friend Taylor. She studied abroad. And then I was like, hi, Taylor. I don't know where Taylor came from, but Taylor studied abroad. And Taylor just started talking to me. And out of nowhere, 3 or 4 more of their friends came and walked with me and my parents all the way to the business building, which I now know was from the other side of campus. So very, very nice of them to do so. Also, how I heard about Cal Poly is I'm from Los Angeles. I'm from Agora Hills, which is about 2.5 hours south. I moved to California. So Cal Poly is a very popular school for my high school. And so I was literally given an escort tour, walking, introduction to Cal Poly. So if you guys are new here or, you've seen these before, you might be able to tell I'm not exactly very shy. I love people more than anything. And when I was at Cal Poly touring, I took, I think, about 3 different tours. And I learned all about the incredible faculty. And I watched my tour guides wave to every student that they knew, which was literally every 5 seconds they were saying hi to their friends. and you could just feel the vibrance and the energy on campus, and everyone's wearing Cal Poly merch, and you can just, everyone's smiling, and it was kind of a stark difference from the university that I had just visited that I was supposed to love. And I think it took less than 5 hours for me to realize that Cal Poly has incredible opportunities and incredible resources and things like that. But what really sealed the deal for me was the community on this campus that you could feel. You could just feel it. And I chose Cal Poly, 3.5, whatever years ago, for the people on this campus and the community. And I have never looked back. Since I've been here, it's been quite a roller coaster, as any college student's experience is. And I, like Abby said, I kind of had, I definitely had struggles with mental health and things like that. That's kind of, something I learned to deal with. And I found incredible support from not only faculty, but just from my peers. And I don't know, when you meet people, being able to lean on people, that's stuff that I've been best friends with my at-home friends since I was in 6th grade. So that's now 10 years of friendship. And I found love and support from people I had just met a few months prior. And I found that support system. And I think that's rare. But it's not, which, I don't know, I think that's a really big thing, is my situation of I found a family, not even to sound cliche. I still live with the same people that I lived with my freshman year. 4 years later, they are still all my roommates, my senior year of college. And I found this support system. I found this group of people that are going to be in my life forever. And that's not rare. So that is something that is very, very common to find at Cal Poly. And so that's kind of, I love the people here. And since I've been here, I told the story about me dog sitting for my professor, and I've had all these fun, wacky adventures I went to Joshua Tree with some of my friends. I befriended the triathlon team. I don't know how to ride a bike. And I found a group of friends in the triathlon team. You're going to end up meeting people and having these experiences that you could have never imagined you would. And so one thing is, I think is a really telling kind of encompassing story that I will end with was when I was a junior, I went abroad. That was last year. And if anyone knows what happened in 2020, I was abroad in January, and I was supposed to stay until May of 2020. Well, I did not make it all the way there. And so I unfortunately had to return back to the States. And I was so lucky, because when I came back, it was right in line with the week before Cal Poly was to start their spring quarter. And I was kind of frantic. I didn't get any of my class credit for my abroad classes. And before I even had to reach out, and it was a very, you all probably remember, very stressful time. I was reached out by Dean of Students, my Orfalea College of Business dean, pretty much 3 different Orfalea College of Business advisors. I received emails saying, "Are you okay? Do you need anything? What can we do to help you?" And I took them up on their offer for help. And not only did they check in with me academically, but they wanted to help me and they wanted to support me. And then one of my advisors got me into a full set of classes. So whenever I get the question a lot of how hard is it to get into classes, I think that story is very telling of, you're taken care of. You are so well taken care of. We are on a quarter system. And so I was put into a full set of business major classes when I returned emergency return back to Cal Poly. That was super unexpected, and they fit me in, and I was able to get right back on track. So that's kind of so telling of just my experience of Cal Poly, is even through the rockiest times, Cal Poly faculty, Cal Poly students, just Cal Poly is there to catch you. So I see the time, it is 7:09, and I appreciate all of you being on here. How does Cal Poly deal with mental health? This is really important, so I do want to kind of touch on that. There is, kind of like Abby said, so we actually have counselors on campus. It is free for students, the mental health center, free for students. It is fantastic. I have definitely utilized their resources and things like that. We also have like a massage chair that you just need to take 30 minutes and have your alone time, because there are a lot of people at college. You are able to kind of like get that alone time, take a deep breath, and there are a ton of resources. When they're adults, as much as I'm 22 years old, I'm not an adult yet. I'm not an adult. And and so it's nice being able to not be home, but still have adults that care about you and really want to support you. And you can find that both from your faculty, from these counselors, from your advisors, from your professors, like literally anyone. Yes, I did study in Prague in the Czech Republic. It was incredible the 2 months I was there. I highly recommend it. But that, if anyone has any questions about why I chose Cal Poly, I'm happy to answer those. But other than that, if y'all have any questions, like I see there's some questions about abroad and some questions about quarter system, things like that, hop on to our it's not Mustang Mondays, hop on to our call right here on this channel or account on Wednesday, and we will be answering all of these fun questions and hopefully kind of do teachers care about mental health? Yes. Professors, you have so much support. Like, I cannot even tell you. I have a professor currently right now, and she said right now things are really hard. You know, late assignments will not be penalized. Take your time, do what you need to do. Just keep me updated. And that's honestly that's pretty telling of what our faculty is like here at Cal Poly. So if y'all have any questions, go ahead and, you look, if you see the pinned comment, go ahead and text admissions, and then tune back in on Wednesday. What time is it for the live? Let me double check for you. Erin, if you want to put that in the chat. I believe 6 p.m. 6 p.m. on Wednesday. It will be myself and admissions officer Erin Ferguson, and we're gonna have a great time. But I do want to leave you on this closing note for all of you that are in this exciting time and about to choose where you go and spend the next 4-ish years. I have to say, wherever you're going to go, it's going to be fantastic. I've heard from my friends at all their different universities that everyone has such a unique college experience and things like that. But I have to say, I would not trade my Cal Poly experience for anything in the world. And I think that goes for most of the students that I know. And we hope to see you here on campus or as a Cal Poly student coming up in the fall. So good luck, everyone. You're doing great things. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, and we'll be back on Wednesday. All right. Bye, everyone. Thanks so much.
Hi there, my name is Rafael. I'm a 4th-year journalism transfer student with a minor in Spanish, and my pronouns are he, him, his. Thank you for watching the video. Please share any questions or comments you have down below in the comment section, and go ahead and click here to subscribe, and to watch more videos, click here. If you want to sign up for a virtual visit or talk to any student or staff members, check out our website. Link in the description.